All right, let's get into it. What if you could build some serious wealth, starting with, well, absolutely nothing? Today, we're going to break down Mark Tilbury's blueprint for doing just that. He says the odds were totally stacked against him, so if he could pull it off, anyone can. Let's see what he's got.
Mark kicks things off with this huge claim. See, he's not talking about that slow, traditional path to wealth that we all hear about. The whole idea here is speed. The idea that building a fortune doesn't have to be something you only get to enjoy when you're old.
And this slide just nails the point. I mean, look, being a millionaire at 50 is fantastic, no question. But as Mark says, being a millionaire when you're younger, that's a whole different ballgame. This isn't just about the money. It's about having the time and the freedom to actually enjoy it. And that's really the prize we're talking about today.
So where does a journey like this even begin? Well, step one is all in your head. It's about completely rewriting your internal script and just refusing to accept those limiting beliefs that keep most people stuck.
Mark tells this wild story from a university lecture he was in. The teacher had all the students write down their dream job, dream car, dream house, and then immediately told them they'd probably have none of it. Her advice? Be realistic. I mean, can you believe that? That's the exact kind of thinking that just kills ambition before it even gets started.
But here's the kicker. Mark's reaction was pure defiance. While everyone else was probably feeling crushed, he just quietly thought to himself, nope, I'll have all of those things. This moment right here is probably the most important decision anyone can make. The choice to stop being realistic.
So you can actually boil down that defiant attitude into 3 really practical shifts. First, be super careful about whose advice you actually listen to. Second, when you hit a problem, don't just stop. Try to come up with 10 different ways around it. And third, you have to constantly push yourself into situations that feel uncomfortable. That's where all the growth is.
Okay, let's move on to stage 2. A powerful mindset is great, but it's totally useless if you don't act on it. This part is all about taking smart, calculated risks, especially when you're young and don't have as much to lose. Picture this. Mark is 20 years old, stuck in a toxic apprenticeship. He was bullied every single day, given the worst jobs. He was just completely miserable. One night, he finally decided he couldn't take it anymore. And even though he had zero safety net, he decided he was going to quit. That's a scary, scary leap.
And this was the question that changed everything. He looked at his life, at 20 years old, no mortgage, no kids, and realized the potential reward of leaving was way, way bigger than the risk. It's a question we should probably all ask ourselves a little more often.
You know, we can actually turn that emotional moment into a simple, logical framework. 1. Take a hard look at your real responsibilities. 2. Figure out what the real biggest risk is. For him, it wasn't quitting his job. It was staying there. And 3. Pick the path that gives you the most room to grow.
Okay, you've got your mind right and you've taken a leap. Now what? Now you have to actually build your wealth engine. This is about making money, yeah. But more importantly, it's about putting that money to work for you and starting as early as you possibly can. So years later, Mark had a successful business going, but he was just plowing all the profits back into it. He wasn't really thinking about the stock market until he took on a 14-year-old kid for work experience. And this kid was obsessed with stocks and would not stop talking about one company he was sure was going to take off.
Mark was pretty skeptical, but the kid was so confident he decided to invest right alongside him. And the result? In 2 weeks, that 14-year-old made 10,000 pounds. I mean, wow. For Mark, that was the light bulb moment. He finally saw just how powerful investing could be.
And this is why starting early is everything. A study from Fidelity found that if you were invested over the last 40 years, but you missed just the 5 best trading days, your returns would have dropped by 38%. Miss the 10 best days, you're down 55%. The lesson is crystal clear. It's about time in the market, not timing the market.
So, you're building momentum, you're making money, you're investing it. Things are looking good, but there is a massive pitfall that so many people miss. Step 4 is all about learning how to protect the wealth you've worked so hard for.
Mark tells this pretty scary story about a friend of his. We're talking one of the richest people in the UK. This friend was in an investment group that was getting these insane returns, sometimes up to 50% a year, by using leverage, which is just a fancy way of saying they were investing with borrowed money. It all sounded a little too good to be true.
And it was. A few months later, the whole thing just collapsed. Because they were so leveraged, his friend didn't just lose his initial investment, he lost way more.
He lost everything, his house, all of it. It's just a brutal reminder of how fast a fortune can disappear.
The key lesson from that whole disaster is diversification. It's that simple idea we've all heard. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. By spreading your investments out, you're protecting yourself. One bad decision or a market crash can't wipe you out completely. Think of it as your financial shield.
All right, let's bring it all together in our final section. This is about taking that principle of diversification and actually using it to build a resilient financial fortress that can stand the test of time. For his stock market stuff, Mark uses a really simple but powerful strategy called the 3-fund portfolio. All it is a U.S. stock market index fund, an international stock market index fund, and a bond market fund. Boom, you're instantly diversified across thousands of companies and different asset types. It reduces your risk, but still lets you grow. And this idea of diversification, it's not just for your investments, it's for your income too. Just look at this list of Mark's income streams. He's got physical shops, a distribution company, affiliate income, ad revenue, stock dividends, rental income, you name it. The point is, if one of those streams dries up for a while, the others keep the whole fortress standing strong.
So there you have it. From rewriting your story and taking calculated risks, to starting your wealth engine and then protecting it all through diversification, you now have the blueprint. The only question left is, what's the very first brick you're going to lay to build your own financial fortress?